Alrighty, guys, motion on the floor to go into an executive session, invited in, to discuss the employment history of a particular person. Invited in is Mrs. O'Grady Parent. Second. All those in favor? Aye. Good evening, everyone. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Good evening, everyone. At this time, it is our public input on agenda and non-agenda items. I welcome any members of the audience to speak at this time. Okay. All right, Mr. Carmelo.
Tal, you don't want to say anything? All right, great, thank you. Okay, thank you. So my first update will be, like it has been all school year, on the merger. So we are really getting to the final stretch now. Tuesday is the vote. We have our last community virtual meeting tomorrow night, 6 to 7 p.m. And then we actually scheduled a second one at 7:15 with the North Greenbush families. We got some people reach out just in the last week or two saying that they felt a little bit left out of the process. And, really, I mean, I suppose it was a mistake, but they don't have a voting right to this, but they do attend Gardner-Dickinson. They do have the similar choices and all that. So I apologize for not reaching out to them sooner, but we'll have a meeting with their community and parent group Thursday, a separate meeting after the 6 to 7 last community meeting. And then we're heading to Tuesday, and fingers crossed. I think signs are pointing to good stuff, so we'll hope. Unless there's questions, that's all I got tonight on that.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Monk for our Troy High School presentation.
Thanks, Bethany. Thank you to everybody on the board, the office, Mr. Carmelo for this time. Really do appreciate it. Really exciting stuff. I apologize ahead of time for the length. I know some of you are looking at that already, but there really is a lot of great stuff in these slides tonight. It's really hard to pick and choose what we don't include here. So the one thing I hope you see tonight is the variety of different things that our students are doing. And one thing that we've been saying since April 2024 is experiences and opportunities for our students, and that's exactly what I hope is showcased here tonight. Ms. Auerkahn asked me a little while ago, am I excited? I said, that's interesting. Usually the class, you're nervous. And I said, I'm actually incredibly excited, but I'm more proud. When you go through these slides and you see what the things our kids are doing and what they're accomplishing in our staff, it's really great stuff. So I'm very proud to stand up here. So our high school vision, to make Troy High School a place where all students are inspired to achieve success and are supported to perform to the best of their ability. It's something that we strive to do each and every single day. The administrative team, these four, are relentless with making sure that we execute this vision. We work with our staff, we work with our students to really see this through. And again, I think you'll see, and I'm hopeful that you'll see this being accomplished as we move through these slides. Starts right here with the people. Mr. Stiles presented it earlier this month, and before he got into the resources and the tools and the strategies and everything that we purchase and everything that we include in, as a district, he said before any of that can be accomplished, it starts with our people, and that cannot be more true than at Troy High School. We are incredibly lucky at the high school level. You can see them all here. We have almost everybody on there.
I was just going to ask you, is that everyone?
We're missing a few.
Oh, man!
We're missing a few, believe it or not, but we try to get every secretary, monitor, TA, teacher, you name it, we try to get on there, but there were just a few we didn't have the pictures of. But really an outstanding group of people. I mean, they are top-notch, they are dedicated, they are driven, they are passionate, they're caring, they're empathetic, you name it. This crew, I mean, everything you're going to see here tonight is as a result of these individuals. They also, as a whole, embody the message that Mr. Carmelo rolled out at the beginning of the school year as a district to raise the bar. They truly raise the bar for each other, and they truly raise the bar each day for kids, and that we couldn't do this without them. Everything you're going to see tonight is a testament to what they do each and every day. There's a testament right there. Quick snapshot of our referral or our suspension data. going down in double-digit percentages each year. Really, really promising information. Tells us we're heading in the right direction with that. Our students are buying in. Our staff is buying into the things that we're doing, so really, really great numbers. You know, you go on this trend for 5, 10 years and you continue to see increases like that, it'll just speak to the environment that's being created in the culture within the high school. So really promising there. Our Regents exam results. If you look at the first 5 that are on the screen or on your paper, algebra, living environment, the 2 histories, and ELA, those are the 5 core that we use at the high school to graduate students. All 5 of those exams saw an increase last year in the percentages of passing, which is really promising. And even if you go further and you look at the advanced regions, a few of them also saw increases. So this is a testament to the work our teachers are doing. You know, when we meet as a faculty, department meetings, faculty meetings, professional development time, they really are honing in on a few different things. One of them, curriculum, identifying the key skills that students need to know, the key ideas, the key concepts, and really picking that apart. And then also the instructional practices. What practices are we utilizing, and what are we doing when students are struggling thereafter? And they really do a great job connecting and enhancing what they do to make sure these numbers are where they are. And we're hopeful that everything we continue to do this year will see another increase on these results. Our graduation rate last year, 85%. You look at the trend over the last 8, 9 years, 10 years, we consistently continue to be 85 and above. We really are striving to get to that 90% and above next year. A lot of things we've looked at this year, we've honed in and targeted different subgroups, different students, and just different strategies in the building to make sure, and we're very optimistic next year, it gets up to there, and we're going to get to that 90 and above. This is just a data point. That's all this is. We just use it to look at it, to see where we stand across districts. Here, the higher needs urban district like ours in the capital region. Again, just a data point. It doesn't really change what we do or how we do things, but it tells us where we are. 2 points to note. Most of those districts actually saw a decrease last year. And if you look all the way to the right, the New York State average in the orange column saw a 1% decrease from the year before. So we actually stayed at the same 85, but the overall state took a 1% dip. Again, just a data point to know where we stand. The next piece of this, I'm going to just talk and highlight some of our programs, our bigger programs. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about our journalism. All of you are very familiar with our journalism. You see our video announcements every Friday from our students. They do an incredible job. This has really enhanced and really changed the culture and climate in Troy High School amongst our student body, amongst our faculty. Our kids are engaging, they're out in the hallways, they're out in classrooms, they're talking to each other, they're face-to-face, they're interactive, they're positive, they're joyful. I mean, you can see the joy in these pictures with these students. If I went back to the people page with some of those staff pictures, there's students in those pictures, just really building a great camaraderie in the building. Because this program has expanded so much, this year we offer Journalism 2 for Hudson Valley Credit. It's been outstanding, and it continues to grow, and that's definitely here to stay as we move forward. So a really, really great program that Mr. Mastrancy does a phenomenal job with, and our students. And it's all student-driven. Speaking of Hudson Valley, our Smart Scholars program, which is, we have 100 students enrolled in that program. That continues to get strengthened year after year. They can earn up to 31 Hudson Valley College credits paid for in full. No penny for those 31 credits, which is a full year's worth of Hudson Valley College. The neat thing about this is we added 2 pathways this year, the criminal justice and the health services, and we actually saw an increase in interest in those areas from our students, so that has helped strengthen this program. Another neat thing about this program is our juniors and seniors are literally physically going to Hudson Valley and sitting in college courses. So certain courses on campus with college professors, getting college grades on their transcript already prior to them walking in the stage. A little bit different than when they're taken here in the high school with our teachers, but really, really neat opportunity where they're getting a step in the right direction, a leg ahead before they walk across our stage. So really, really great in Hudson Valley. Our career internship. We have students out there leave school and they go to these internships with local businesses, local institutions, and I just have to commend those places because a lot of these stay the same year after year because they're willing to take our students, and I think that's a testament to how outstanding our students when they go to those places. But they really get one-on-one mentorship, leadership skills, real life career skills, and they get to learn about their interests and determine, hey, do I want to do this, or hey, don't I want to do this. One of the things at the end of the year when they talk about it, especially our Samaritan Hospital students that go for nursing, some of the kids will get up and say, wow, I really love this, this is what I'm going to do, love what I saw, and then others will say, I'm never going back to an ER again. So it's really intriguing to hear what they say about their experience. But again, a lot of places here in-house, in the middle school, in School 14, School 18, just different schools that are willing to take on our students. So really great stuff. And another neat thing about this is we have additional places that are willing to take on our students once we reach out to them and make a connection and explain, hey, look, we have a student, for example, Mercedes-Benz and Latham, is the first year we made that connection with them, and a student wanted to do auto mechanics with Mercedes. And we made a connection with somebody there, and they were willing to take on that student. So really, really great stuff. A student that is in Troy PD this year, she came in yesterday and told us that they did a ride-along the day before and she doesn't want to go back. So we're not sure what we're going to do there, if she's going to finish that internship or not. True story. So we'll see. But really, really great program that's giving our students a step and experience and opportunities a step ahead before they walk across the Tri-High stage, graduation stage. I can't say enough about Regeneron. For those, if anybody is not familiar with this, we have a partnership with Regeneron where a handful of individuals come regularly. They provide weekly experiments for students, hands-on activities, and they do site visits, just getting students interested in STEM. This company and the individuals that come and work with us, that we partner with, are absolutely outstanding human beings. They really are. They want to do nothing but just help. We're the only high school that has a partnership. I rave about that all the time to people. We're very lucky to have that partnership, and simply all they want to do is help our kids and get interested potentially in this field. The really, really great thing about this is they're not just one and done. When our kids walk the stage, they don't just say, okay, great having you in the program. They're sticking with our kids thereafter. So last year we had 13 graduates in this program. This year is the first year we have the most kids in the Regeneron STEM program, 9 through 12. Last year was a smaller cohort of 13 seniors. Out of those 13 seniors, 11 of them, well, first of all, they were given MacBooks last year at the year-end celebration. Regeneron paid, bought them all MacBooks. But then 11 of those 13 students have accepted internships with Regeneron this summer. They're paid internships, which is really, really neat. And to make it even better, they're $25 an hour paid internships for students who are a year out of high school. So really, really great stuff that this company is doing for our kids. And then who knows what entry-level positions that leads to. And that's ultimately what they're after, getting more students involved and potentially leading to potential career options for them. Really, really great company and outstanding people. Here's a list just to give a snapshot of our offerings that we offered this year, we're intending to offer next year. As I go back to that experience and the opportunities, just providing as many opportunities as we can. So we added SUNY Adirondack, three-dimensional design courses still, that's here to stay, just like the journalism course through Hudson Valley. We added those this year. Next year we have approved and in the works 3 additional Hudson Valley courses, English Comp 101, Forensic Science, and College Algebra. Some of our kids that are in Smart Scholars are going there taking those classes. We're now going to be able to offer them for other students who are not Smart Scholars here in the building next year. So we're really excited about that. This Introduction to Microchip Design course is through RPI. RPI is partnering with Hudson Valley and Siemens Corp, I believe it is, to pilot this course next year. Really, really great. I'm going to talk about a field trip that our students did that tied directly into this course a little bit later. And it's a pilot program next year, so we're one of very few schools that are offering it. They can earn their RPI credit through that. The greatest thing about it is they're going to partner with Hudson Valley to provide support to our students. So it's not just here's the course, but they're working together. And ultimately where we want to end up, especially when I talk about the tech wing, it's going to be Troy High, Hudson Valley, RPI, strengthened partnership for our students if this is the route that they wanted to get into. AP Business and Finance, that'll be another additional AP course, so we'll bring our 7 up to 8 AP courses that we have for next year. And then 2 that are pending, I believe they will get approved, Hudson Valley, Real World Mathematics, and then Principles Practice of Light Construction 1, which will tie directly into the tech wing pathways that we're going to talk about. So those should be approved, very optimistic they will be. And then lastly, the new Visions program, the hybrid law, which is really cool because it's hybrid. Students can do it here on campus. They don't have to go there. And if they complete the program over the course of the year, they get 9 Schenectady Community College credits. So really, really cool stuff. All right, the next piece of this is some of the experiences our students have been afforded. So I think everybody's heard about the International Club. Really, really outstanding. Before I even get to that, if you look over to the left, including the International Club, we added 7 clubs to the high school this year. And 5 of those 7 were student-driven. Students went to a faculty member, students went to administration, and they said, we have these ideas, this is what we want to do. And they came up with these ideas, and the activities are loaded. And it brings me right back to that vision statement, trying to execute a place where all students, and that word was capitalized and bolded for a reason, to make sure every single student that walks through our doors is attached to Troy High School, that it's their home away from home, and it's by doing things like this where they're interested and they can stay after school and just buy in more. And then, of course, the Italy trip, I mean, look at that blue sky. It's beautiful over there, and those architecture in those buildings. I want to do it justice if I try to explain what our students got, what they took from that trip. I think we all know the cultural heritage and the international travel and the skills that our students definitely developed. So really, really great stuff. 42 kids went with 7 adults. Next year's Germany trip is already loaded again with 42 kids. I just sent down a field trip request to district office for the following year. We won't talk about that right now.
Go ahead, tell them where.
What is it? Japan. Yes. I haven't heard back from Mr. Golf yet.
I'm not going, but you
So, but really cool, and that club is, the students are in that club and the students are advocating. They're saying, this is what we want to do. We had a parent here at the last board meeting that spoke up and said how great it is. And it really is affording our kids an opportunity that, you know, they might never get. Also, Ms. Case, who runs that club, does a great job working with families. If a family has said, which they did for the Italy trip, hey, listen, we're not so sure in terms of the money, what payment plan, what supports can we do, what fundraising can we do, and she works with those families to make that happen. We did it with the Italy trip, so we'll see what happens over the next couple of years. But Germany is full next year. Here's some of the other trips. So here's another thing that Regeneron decided to do this year, partner with Questar and Hudson Valley, and we're not the only school that was invited. There were a few other schools, but just give students an opportunity to come to Hudson Valley and get exposed to the STEM field. Specifically with Regeneron and pharmaceuticals, but just let them participate in different activities. So we had our kids go. I get the text of that picture in the middle with the golf, and I really couldn't make the connection, so I had to ask. And what those students are doing is they're hitting a golf ball, but they have glasses on. It's hard to see, but they have glasses on, and the glasses have covering. And the covering is simulating macular degeneration, which is a disease in your retina that causes blurry vision and distorted vision. So then after they experience an activity to try to hit the ball with that type of disease, they then go through the process of what the pharmaceutical drug is that Regeneron was able to create. Really, really neat thing to make that connection. And then the other 2 pictures that you see there are the students experiencing going into a clean lab, having to be completely clean, and putting on the cape, and then the blue light shows the contamination. So they simply took their bare hands, touched the suit, and they could see the germs and the contamination without washing their hands. So just a neat opportunity. Down below, you see the winter boot camp. Albany Med continues to partner, just offer. There's actually 3 different things that they do. This is the first. They do another thing now and another thing in the summer. Just giving kids an opportunity to come get real life experiences. So you can see the 2 students on either side of the middle picture where they're conducting CPR and practicing that and learning that. They did a whole bunch of other exercises while they were there. But the one in the middle, I blacked out the patient, because that's a real human, and the nurse that's next to her. They practiced actual things on patients. The patients had had symptoms, and the students would then have to diagnose it and look at the ultrasound. So that's Junior, Izzy Strang, is actually doing an ultrasound with that technology and that equipment. Really, really cool with that nurse's guidance. So again, just another experience that's by far something that they're getting to do prior to walking across our stage. So really, really neat stuff. Our faculty do a great job by, once they get a hold of this stuff, they get the kids lined up and they get them out there to do it. Here's just a handful, and again, I mentioned just a variety of different things that our kids are doing. So we had students go to a trip for the Climate Summit over at Schenectady Community College. That's actually the second of 2 trips. Earlier year, we had a group go to Tupper Lake to do the same type of climate summit where they're participating in workshops and designing and presenting action plans. The group in the middle, they went to the Capitol where they were able to meet with legislators and talk about lobbying for environmental causes. The picture over here to the right with the Siena Youth Leadership Conference, our group of students go year after year. They are a loud voice at that conference. We get great feedback when they come back, and they just get a chance to have different activities where they collaborate and really focus on different ideas, historical ideas, and really become what it says there, civically minded leaders. So just really great experiences that they're getting. Here, Mr. O'Keefe's business course took several students down to Rensselaer County courts, where they were able to tour, meet some judges, interact, meet the DA, the sitting DA, public defender, court stenographer. They really had an opportunity to learn about the courts and interact with these individuals. Really cool. One of the students actually shadowed the court stenographer since then, and we have a handful of those students who have actually applied for internship down at the county courthouse for this summer. Middle group is our group that went to SUNY Albany for the RNA Institute, which is really cool because they had a chance to go to the laboratories, meet with the researchers, have a Q&A with the researchers, and actually practice with equipment and see what it's like. One of the things they did there was extract DNA from a strawberry. How you do that is beyond me, but they were able to do it. So just, again, getting experiences that it's just wild. Same thing with this last trip over here. This goes right with that course I mentioned that we're offering next year, where the students had an opportunity to go to RPI. It was a 2-day event just to learn about semiconductor manufacturing, if it's an area that they want to get interested in. And these students did quite a few different intense workshops while they were there. And one of the things they got to do was program a robotic arm to achieve whatever objectives they put in for it to do. So you can see them working there. So just again, just given a kind of a variety of the different things our kids have been afforded to do. Our performing arts, I think I said it last year, our performing arts and our arts, I probably could do an entire presentation on because the amount of things they do, it's not even up there, this doesn't do it justice. But, they stick with the same, all county music festivals, they go to the Albany Empire State Plaza, they continuously do those performances where they do an outstanding job. But the two things I wanted to mention here for this group this year, they had an opportunity to go down to Radio City Music Hall in the city this past December, and they were able to perform on the stage prior to the program that came out. So just a really neat opportunity for them. And then down here, this is the cast. I don't know if anybody saw, I think it was out, it just happened last week. A group of 7 or 8 students went to all the elementary schools to do a snippet performance of the musical that we're doing this weekend. So the Charlie Brown musical is this Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Music department came to me earlier in the year and said, hey, we have this great idea, and what an outstanding idea. We loved it, we ran right with it. They went around all the elementary schools, they went to Gardner Dickinson, they included them, and they performed a 30-minute snippet of that musical performance. And the whole purpose of that was we want to get younger kids in our school district. We want to ignite that now. We want to see them what it's like and get them involved in this and interested in it. So really kudos to them for coming up with that great idea. Same thing with the arts, doesn't do it justice, but a few different things. I mean, you can see the art shows and the jury shows that our students are participating in. Their work is out there, it's really, really neat. I'm going to go to the third bullet, the juried exhibition in Albany. This is a big one. And you can see, this is one of the opening nights. Look at how packed this place is. I mean, it's absolutely mobbed. There's 27 school districts that submitted artwork. 515 pieces were submitted out of those 27 districts. 127 of those pieces were selected. Out of those 127, 5 of those pieces were our students. So they're doing a great job. You can see those pieces there. I have no idea what's going on here with this thing. But it's incredible. They're incredibly talented. Our students are incredibly creative, and they're incredibly talented, and it shows. Down here, the Jacob Javits Center, many of these students had an opportunity to go down earlier this year. Really great opportunity. Over 40 art schools and universities, some of them internationally, where they had their artwork critiqued and reviewed and gained immediate feedback on the spot, and then also the application process of what those schools look like for those students. So it's a really great opportunity that they saw there. This has exploded so much over the last few years. Mr. Stiles also mentioned this earlier this month. We're adding another pathway to graduation next year. It's called the IAAP, which is the Individual Arts Assessment Pathway. So all these students who are absolutely excelling, it's an easy pathway for them for graduation. So we're going to add that pathway next year. Career exposure. So the skilled trades is the next piece of this, right? Especially when we get to the tech wing piece. And that's to us, when we talk about all the academics, all the college offerings, all those things that we've added and our students are in, we've got a lot of that. The next piece of this for our students is the trades. So you can see the list of the different trades organizations that have come and spoke to our students, they present to our students, and they share with them all the information that it takes and what a trade really is and what it takes to get into those trades. Mr. Meikle does a phenomenal job with the connections that he has with these individuals, and he's out there getting them in here for our kids. One of the things that he was able to connect with one of these guys to do is they're going to come after April break that I have in bold there, and they're going to provide a 6-class training where essentially it's going to pre-teach students. So it's going to pre-teach them all the basics to get into the pre-apprenticeship this summer. And what that's going to do for our students is going to give them a leg up. It's going to give them a step ahead when they enter that pre-apprenticeship, and it's going to guarantee them into that pre-apprenticeship this coming summer. So we've got a lot of great connections. Like I said, Mr. Meikle's got these connections where they're just out there and they're willing to come and help and support our kids. So, and a lot of our kids are interested in this. A lot of them not so sure about college, not so sure what to do. They're really, really skilled. They're really, really talented. And this is a really great direction for them.
Mr. Monk, can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
What grade typically do they start with this?
I would say juniors and seniors. It's really seniors mostly.
That's more of a senior base just because it's directly leading to the pre-apprentice, but
Okay.
with the new tech wing, the pathways will start much earlier to kind of figure out which career, which part of the union, or which union you want to potentially go for. That is more of like labor-based, post-high school. If you do this, then you lead directly into a summer essential tryout to get into the union, so.
Okay, thank you.
And then we have our trades night in May. So even though they come and they present and they share all this with our students, we also are offering that for our families and students to come back to that trades night where they'll present many of those things as well. All right, the next piece of this is our accolades. I love talking about this. This is one of the best parts where we highlight some of our kids and the great things that either they or their team has accomplished this year. Masterminds, we all know, is undefeated, absolutely outstanding. Our main student in this program, Demetrios, is the top scorer in the state by far. He has beat the second person in our region by like 1,100 or 1,200 points. I mean, it's not even funny how outstanding he is. So they're competing in nationals again this coming May, and just a fun fact that they qualified every year for the last 8 years. So that group just continues to do outstanding work. I actually had on there all the regional championships and the state championships. It's just too much to actually put on there, so I took it off. But I mean, when you go past the last 10 years, their accomplishments, just really incredible. Odyssey the Mind, this group, they won first place this year in regional competition, which qualified them for states. They actually had a little hiccup with transportation last week when they were going to states, but they came in my office, they all met as a group, we worked through that as a team, they worked through it as a team, and we're all able to make it to states. They got a 95, they got up at 4:30 a.m., drove out Syracuse, they got a 95 on their spontaneous, which is good. They didn't end up winning overall, but they had a great experience. Really, really great group of kids. Jerry Zhao. Jerry Zhao has a full scholarship, full ride to MIT. So he is the second student in Troy High School for the last 2 years to get that full ride to MIT. So he will join Hadil, who's there from last year. He will join next year. Maddie Patton was accepted and is going to the Honors College at Northwestern University. I read a stat, I don't know how accurate it is, but the stat that I read was that only 7% of applicants get in there. So really, really hard to get in there, so good for her. A lot of our students actually, for some reason, have not heard back, or they're undecided. They haven't decided, or they just haven't heard back from the college yet. So we have 2 students, really prestigious program, the Harvard 4-week program. It is not free. It is very difficult to get into, very rigorous. Andy Williams and Dahlia Bush were accepted and are both going there this summer. This U.S. Presidential Scholars Program, students can't apply for it, they get invited to it. So based on their SAT score, ACT score, and a few other things, Demetrios Skordas was invited to that. He is a candidate. We won't know for a couple months who is selected, but he is a nominee. Liam Rowe, one of the 3 students in Capital Region to receive a Courage Award through Siena College. Really neat honor. They had a dinner, they had a celebration where he and his family were invited. And then 2 students of ours were selected this year for the Angelo Del Toro Puerto Rican Hispanic Youth Leadership Institute, which is a program run through the State Assembly and Senate, where they have a task force that they're working with several students throughout the state to really just collaborate and get them to understand civic readiness and work with them through those things at the Capitol. So really, really great honors for these students. Our Quest Star students, this program continues to grow year after year. Last year, this competition had about 300 students. This year, it had 450. Scott Coonrad and Chad Castle that you see there, they actually did not place. They placed second or third last year, and this year they came back to win, and they sure did. So they both got first place. They are competing in the States next month, April 22nd and April 21st. So, and then we had two students that placed third in their respective areas. That there is Christina's Cobb salad that she put together. So really just cool things that our students are out there and doing in their respective areas of interest. Our esports Rocket League team made it to state championship. And this program is all done remotely on campus. And then if you win the region, which they did, then you go to states in person. So they had an opportunity to see Syracuse's gaming facility, which is pretty state-of-the-art. They had a great experience. They didn't win while they're there, but they have a spring competition that they're eager to get back there and get to this facility again to take the crown. We've said states a lot. I said states a few other times. I'm going to say states a few times here. With these first two swimmers, they both made it to states this year. So again, our kids are doing really outstanding work. Angelina and Rocco both made it to states and competed there. The two students up here, Julian and Shemaya, both won the section for the 300 meter for indoor track. Shemaya's a freshman, so we should see a lot more to come from her. Joey Degnan, down here on the left, won, he was fifth in the section for golf in the fall, which qualified him for states. And we kind of don't hear about it because states is actually this June. So I believe it's the 6th it starts. So that's something for us to look forward to on how he performs. Aiden McBride received the National Football Foundation College Hall of Fame Scholarship, so it's a great honor for him. And then we have two girls going for sports. Maddie Valley going to state, she committed. I'm told she's the first girl Troy High School student to play lacrosse in college, so that's a really neat thing. And then Vanessa Quinn committed to softball UMass Dartmouth. So really, really just great things for our students. I would never attempt to go through all this, but I had to at least show it. Miss Lenny does a great job, by the way, putting these posters together. I can't say enough about again, I'm going to use the word camaraderie. These students will each other to win. That's what we have seen this year. Taking away the phones with the honor pouches so they have no distractions, whatever it is, but they're just really outstanding individuals. They're great on the field, on the courts, and they're also great in the building. They truly are student-athlete leaders. So you can see all of them in those pictures. I really just want to share that they're getting all of these honors, whether it's through the Suburban or the Colonial Council All-Star type of nominees, or if they're getting All-Team, or if they're getting Team of the Week or Player of the Week through Times Union nominations. They are getting recognized for their outstanding achievements. Coach Gonzari, Coach of the Year for Section 2, Class A. And then up here, our first year, as we all know, of our undefeated Unified Bowling, which was an outstanding season. Coach Poutre and Coach Siepel couldn't rave enough about this, but they really continued to speak about our Troy High partners. So I wanted to make a point to mention them tonight. So the students over here in bold are our general education students who volunteer their time to go and support and act as coaches, if you will, for each match. And you know, there's 12 or 13 students here, so the two coaches do need additional support, and those students volunteered and did a great job. So Sophia Short, Joey Degnan, Tyler Dickinson, Jacob Pep, Chloe Patero, Aiden Kuchar, Gavin Valley, Jamari Flowers, Joe DeJesus, and Jacob Arnold. Really outstanding students for doing that. And on deck, we have Unified Basketball starting next month, and then next year we're in the works to include Unified PE in the high school. Okay, we're winding down. Tech Wing. We are so pumped for this Tech Wing. You can see we had the opportunity to go in a couple weeks ago. In the size of these classrooms, and the windows, it's just truly going to be state-of-the-art when all the equipment and all the new furniture and every new technology is in this tech wing. The outside is coming together fabulously. I mean, it is just outstanding, this building, what it's going to do for us and for our kids. Really, really state-of-the-art stuff. So just an example of more stuff that we're intending to include when we get to this is Project Lead the Way. It's a grant that one of our teachers actually received this year, and it allows students to take those are just examples, but those are courses we currently offer right now in high school. So we don't need the tech wing for it, but they're currently offered. Students can take the courses through this grant, and then ultimately there's a test, and then you obviously have to complete the course. And if they apply, they can earn up to 3 college credits through RIT. So really, really cool stuff. And then the big thing down the line, right? If you fast forward 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, is our pathways. And that's what Mr. Meikle mentioned in terms of the different trades and the pathways. Having the barbershop, having the pre-engineering, having the welding, the electrical, the construction, and just ultimately ending up with pathways where students, and that would start at the 9th grade level. It absolutely starts at the 9th grade level with electives. And they say, I'm interested in this, I'm interested in that, whether it's construction or welding, whatever have you, and they can begin that process. And the ultimate goal, once those pathways are implemented, is our connection with Hudson Valley. They're building their own state-of-the-art facility as we speak. I think it'll be done in 2 years, in addition to what they currently have. So our ultimate goal is we want our students, being successful here with these pathways, getting credits toward those pre-apprenticeships, getting credits toward those apprenticeships, or if it requires a 2-year degree, whatever it is, and then having that directly tied right to Hudson Valley and going to Hudson Valley for these trades already with a leg up, already with a step in the right direction. So that's the ultimate goal with this. We're definitely heading in that direction. So this video, I asked a couple of the seniors to put together. So forgive me if you have already watched it. I should have been more explicit with them. I did ask them to put it together. I had an idea where I wanted them to go around and ask this question. And when they work with Mr. Moe through journalism, they put it on the morning announcements. And as a result of that, it got shared out on social media. So I apologize if you've seen it.
Here at Troy High, we have many different people from various backgrounds with their own opinions on the school. Let's walk around the halls and find out what Troy really means. What is Troy High?
Good opportunity.
Fulfilling.
Supportive.
It's fun.
A great school for lovely personalities.
Full of opportunities.
It's something positive, a safe place to be in, and perfect, yeah.
Everything.
Very athletic.
A special place.
The best place I ever worked.
Troy High is home.
A welcoming community.
Where it's at.
Well, place full of good food.
Family.
It's home. It's home. It's where, I love coming to work every day and love our students, our community, our population, and, it's an awesome place to be.
The greatest place on earth.
Interesting.
A good school, good students.
The unified bowling team.
Strong-willed.
Positive environment.
Troy High is community. Like the students, all the faculty and staff, everybody loves being around each other and helping each other and having a great time and seeing each other be successful. What is Troy High?
Welcoming. Diverse.
It is the sport of unified bowling.
A place of unity, perseverance, and success from many different people of all different walks of life.
A positive environment.
An adventure, una aventura.
Troy High is a great environment to learn. All the students and staff are amazing. It's just a great place.
Creative and ambitious.
My home away from home, my family, and the best place I've ever had the pleasure to teach. Because it doesn't feel like a job every day. It feels like I'm home. I feel the love, girl. The love.
As you can see, Troy High is many different things, but above all, Troy High is the place to be.
It is great knowledge. Thank you, Will. Great.
That's her dream for next year only.
Yeah. Graduation outside next year.
We're trying.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Depends.
Great job.
Nice job. Do you have any questions for Josh? Nice job.
Thank you.
All right. On to our budget discussion.
It's a hard act to follow.
It is.
Well done, Mr. Monk.
Thank you. You cut it.
He didn't cut any of his slides.
Yeah, these were interesting.
You're actually great. I understand what you're saying. How do you cut any of that stuff out? I hear you. Great job. Well, I actually have good news too, but not as exciting as that. That was really good. So we're at draft 2. So we were at draft 1 a couple of weeks ago, and we had a $1.4 million gap, and I said at the time that that's a very manageable deficit, and we'll see we've already knocked that down more than in half, and you know, we're on our way to a nice final budget. Mr. Monk didn't start with that, but I'll start with that. The Troy School District moved about a strong educational and social foundation to graduate all students college and career ready. Actually like their vision at the high school as well. The key for both of them is that all students are getting what they need to reach their full potential and be successful. Right? That's what we're doing every single day. And certainly when we put a budget together, we're going to make sure. The first few slides are all repeats, so I'm not going to go through them again, but I want to always have them in there so we can remember where we came from. Those were, I mean, Mr. Monk's highlights were way better. Mr. McShane did some highlights two meetings ago, and all the elementary principals. This was just really our state assessment stuff that we were proud of, so that stays on there. And how do we keep building, right? Mr. Monk really made it clear that we're always trying to get better. He's adding college classes, he's adding AP classes, he's adding different clubs, he's adding programs. That's what we're always trying to do. Build on our successes, and keep making things better and better for our students, right? How do we do that, and how do we do it in the most fiscally responsible way possible? That's what we're always trying to do this time of year as we're developing our budget. We always talk about those two lenses, right? Being educationally sound, what I just said, every student getting what they need to be successful, but also being good stewards of the taxpayers' money. That's what you have to balance every time, right? You have to make sure you're thinking of both sides of those, both sides of that thing. There's our tax cap history. That's something we've been bragging about for a while, especially those last 10 years. Less than 7% total increase in that last 10 years. Somebody just posted that a couple of days ago, which I was kind of glad about, and said how fiscally responsible they are. And I think we are. I don't know if there's any district as fiscally responsible as we are, and those last 10 years certainly show that. This was also a repeat. Those are the revenues that we're getting. Our state aid, our tax levy, and then some of the miscellaneous stuff. The first two are obviously the big ones. Our state aid, really the only difference is $100,000. Remember our foundation aid right now in the executive run is 1%, so that goes up about $628,000, but then there's some other state aids that are calculated in there, so there's only a $100,000 increase. Draft 1 and Draft 2 right now are going to assume another 0% tax levy increase. We've already talked about, but I'll say it again as we get to it. The vote is Tuesday. If we get to that vote and it's not a successful vote, then we may want to talk about a little bit of a tax levy increase, right? Going zero without that incentive aid money in the future. You know, it's just something we'll have to discuss. But right now, zero is built in. Significant drivers of expenses, we went through these last time too. I did add on that slide that that's for Draft 1, because you'll see in a moment those first two have been adjusted, so we've got some savings from salaries that we'll talk about, and we got some savings in our insurance line that we'll talk about. So those were significant drivers, are still significant drivers, but there has been some reduction in those first two categories. And there was our Draft 1 proposal, right? Our revenues came in so far at 143,583, 127. Our expenditures are 144,998,434, which gives us a deficit of a little over 1.4 million. And again, said at that time, very manageable. So what has changed since Draft 1? So again, those first two drivers, salaries and benefits. I told you when we were doing Draft 1 that we hadn't calculated our savings from retirements. We had about 11 people retire. 7 of those are teachers, right? So if a teacher's retiring, they're a top step, you know, in the $90,000 range, and then you hire a new teacher, You know, not always at step one, right? So there's a calculation that we do to make sure we get the savings, and we don't want to overestimate the savings that we're getting. But a step one new teacher is in the low 50s. But then there's some health insurance stuff, like as you retire, you still get the health insurance. So it's not one for one. But Mr. Hotelling went through and calculated the whole thing. So that's a $220,000 savings. So really that 2.5 there is down to a little less than 2.3 with that savings. And we still have the attrition plan. I just thought it was important to put that in there. We will continue to always review. So out of those 11, it looks like all 11 will have to be replaced of those that retired. But we do continue to look at every single person that leaves, whether it's resignation or retirement, to see if we do have to replace them. And then the health prescription costs went down. So the first draft one is a calculation before we have some final numbers. And so that was good news. So that's 700,000 one. Actually, that we thought we were increasing, actually is only going to increase by 200,000. So it's been $500,000 less than we anticipated increasing. So that's a $700,000 savings from the 1.4. You can do that math, but we're going to be a little less than $700,000 now with our gap. The revenues still are the same as draft one. Draft one revenues 143, 583, 127. Draft two revenues are the same. We haven't adjusted those yet because the state budget is not done yet, and our tax levy is still zero. So there's no change there yet. But those expenditures went down, what I just said, about 720,000, not give or take. And so our current deficit a little under sub 700,000. The gap is still going to be addressed by those things, right? Our state budget, our tax levy if we want to do that, and any use of reserves that we want to do. Certainly we're at a spot where we will not have any budgetary layouts, which is good news. We have done that several years ago. So the One House bills had just come out when I was doing draft one, so I kind of gave you a little rundown. Really the key that we're looking at is the foundation aid. So the governor gave the minimum amount at 1%. We're over 70% of the districts in New York State that are at that minimum now. It's a lot, right? So we're one of those now. Remember when we had the phase in, we were one of the ones that were getting significant increases over those 3 years to phase in. That was a couple of years ago. So now we're at that minimum, but we're not alone. Again, over 70% of districts are at that minimum. Both the Assembly and the Senate have moved that minimum up to 2%. Now that doesn't mean it's going to be in the final budget, but it's a good sign when 2 out of the 3 have something similar, right? So we'll see. I put in the number there underneath the 2% minimum increase. That would mean $628,000 for foundation increase, right? The 1% that we have is $628,000, so if that goes to 2%, we'll get another $628,000. So another $628,000 for our current deficit. If that final budget comes in at 2%, then we're already just $70,000 behind. We'll be fine, we'll be done, and we won't have many more decisions to make. There are also some foundation aid weightings that you can see there. New weighting for homeless, new weighting for foster. Assembly's got it at 0.65 and ELA at 0.6. The Senate has the foster and homeless at 0.12, ELL 0.6. There's no runs that's looking at, so we don't really have dollar amounts, what that's going to mean. Adam and I looked, we talked to state aid planning, they actually came to our superintendent meeting last Friday. They don't think it's going to be big money, but we do have homeless and foster and ELL kids, more than some districts, so that could be another increase. So the 628, if it's 2% and those things go into play, we could be looking at a little bit more than 628, which again would close that gap even more. There were other things in the One House bills. We just put them on the bottom there, just so you know that they are in those bills, but they really don't apply to us. They don't really mean much to us, so didn't want to get too much into them. UPK, there's an increase in the per pupil, but we're already at that higher rate, so that doesn't really affect us. The electric buses is a big issue for everybody. If you've listened to the governor over the last couple of weeks, She seems to be walking that back a little bit, nothing official yet, but my guess is that timeline will be extended out a little further. But again, we don't have our own buses, but we do contract out with a bus company, so we'll have to worry about that when the time comes. Prior year claims are things that weren't, reports that weren't filed or weren't filed on time. That's been a battle every year, but again, it's not huge money for us. Charter school rates is important. That's not in the one-house bill, so the ones on the right are things that we need to consider. So those charter school numbers change a lot. We don't get those until the final state budget comes. They're never in the preliminary runs. So we just got to be careful. The good news with charter school for us is fewer and fewer kids are opting that out. I mean, with Mr. Monk's presentation, there's nobody really, I shouldn't say nobody, but very few kids would rather go to charter school, high school than to come to Troy High School. So those numbers go down every year for us. Tier 6 is a huge one. I mean, I'm sure you've heard that on the news, right? Tier 6 is one of Governor Cuomo's things, and it just makes it harder. There are a lot of things in Tier 6 that aren't as nice as a Tier 4 people have, or even back earlier than that, of course. But the big thing with Tier 6 is right now, if you're not Tier 6 and you're 55 or 30 years in, you can retire without penalty. Tier 6 makes you go to 62 years, right? With 30 years in. So that's a long time to make people work in this field. So they've been battling that. The problem is, and then people are saying they're open to the discussion and things, that is, we had a lobbyist, not a lobbyist, yeah, I guess she is. She comes every month to our Quest Guard meetings for our superintendents. She said the price tag on, if they really were going to roll that back, is about $14 billion. So she said they're talking so that people know that they're hearing and they're on their side, but she said there's no appetite to add $14 billion to the state budget at this point. So, but that certainly would be something that would, towns, cities, state governments, like schools, everybody would have to pay for that. So that would be a budget buster for sure if they ever decide to really start considering that. Again, the person that we met with Friday said she sees no pathway that's in this year or any upcoming years, near future. So the key here is, again, foundationally, that's why that's the really main part of that slide. We're really hoping that 2%, because 2 out of 3 to have it, is where we end up, and again, we'll be set. Again, draft 1 and draft 2 have 0. Our tax cap is 223, which will be about $860,000 in revenue. Again, our DAP right now is only less than $700,000. So, the key is that third bullet in draft 3. If it's necessary, we'll give you, like we did the last couple of years, what 0.5% looks like, what 1% looks like, what 1.5% looks like, what 2% looks like, and if we have to make those decisions on April 15th for draft 3, we will. The good thing about the timing this year is even if the budget's a little bit late, the state budget, our next meeting, official budget workshop and meeting is April 15th. So I guess I shouldn't say it out loud and jinx it, but I assume everything will be done at the state level by then. And then we'll know certainly whether we need to even look at draft 3. And then if the vote goes through on Tuesday in a positive manner, then we already said we're going to keep that 0% tax levy increase. And even if we're stuck at $700,000 using reserves, knowing that incentive aid is on its way, won't be an issue at all. Reserves, we just got to be careful. You can't consistently use that for recurring expenses, right? But we always combine it with our attrition plan, which has worked out where we're avoiding any cuts to programs or staff. And then the capital reserve. So we mentioned it last time. I got the nods from everybody to move forward. So this will be on our May vote. Remember, a capital reserve, the only thing that voters will be voting for is to create the savings account, right? So the committee will vote on the proposition to authorize the creation of the capital reserve for the purpose of helping to finance the local share. So all the capital projects we've done over the last 12 years have all been at no cost to the taxpayers, and we've done that by a couple different ways. One way is to have a savings account in advance where we're saving for that local share, that's taxpayers don't have to come up with that local share. And don't forget that this merger goes through, our aid ratio goes from 90%, which is already fantastic, right? 90% means if you have $1 million project, we get 900,000 of it back. The local share is only really the 100,000. Now we'll go up to 98%. It's really, it's going to be free money for us at 98%. The reserve allows capital projects to be completed with no additional cost to taxpayers. I just said that. So we're going to pick $6 million. I think I said that last time, but if not, I'm saying it now. The reserve may be funded. So it won't be $6 million right away. We'll put a little bit in each year, but eventually trying to get to $6 million. $6 million at a 98% building aid ratio is a $300 million pot of money, which wouldn't be one project. It would probably be 3 over that 10-year period. Remember, to get to 98%, you have to have the vote done in those 10 years. So we will plan that so that we have 3 separate votes. But $300 million, Josh was just talking about the tech wing and how great that's going to be. We can have all of our buildings get upgraded, including the Gardner Dickinson building that needs a lot of work. And again, all of that done with no cost to taxpayers at all. And there's no tax increase for the creation. Again, this is just the creation of the savings account, which will allow us to save over the next several years. Next steps. Tuesday's a big one. At least show us where we are when we get back here on the 15th. We'll continue to monitor the state budget process and hope for that 2%. We'll continue our advocacy. I talked to John McDonald just yesterday and over the weekend as well. Trying to keep pushing for that. And draft 3 again will be on April 15th. I should say, I don't even know where it would be, but I guess there. So the revenues, if we get 2%, the revenue line would go up. If the vote for the merger goes through, we do have some of the requests from the principals that we have not put in here, right? We talked about that. We've left them out and kind of just made, this is a maintaining budget. So if that vote goes through, draft 3, we might bring some things that we feel like, should be added that we didn't want to add with the uncertainty that we were dealing with, right? So again, knowing that that money's coming, we may be coming to the board with some options for things that you can add. Again, not meaning we would have to do tax limit or anything, but just because we know that that money's coming in the future. And there are things that our principals and directors feel like really are needed. Some of them are driven by not just student wishes like Mr. Monk was talking about, but student need, right? Special ed, ENL, those kinds of things, or student requests for classes that we might have to do, class sizes that we always try to keep low. So all of those things really are not, they're addressed always, but we haven't added anything to do anything with that, so we probably would go back to that if that vote goes through. Josh, do then with that, and I will too. Again, we will. Questions? Question? Thank you.
Motion on the floor for approval of minutes from March 11th, 2026. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Under Superintendent Recommendation, Human Resources, Staff Matters, Unclassified and Classified. Under Unclassified, motion on the floor for consent agenda items 1 through 11. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Under Classified, motion on the floor for consent agenda items 1 through 5. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Under Superintendent Recommendations Programs, motion on the floor for approval of item 1 as listed. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? District announcements, we will have our Troy Wine and Skill Community Meeting tomorrow evening from 6 to 7. It will be virtual. Our future Board of Ed meetings will all be held here at 6 p.m. April 15th will be our budget discussion draft 3. On April 21st, we will have our Troy Community School presentation and adopt the budget. May 6th, we'll have our town hall budget hearing and meet the candidates. And on May 19th, we'll have our budget vote and election.
And if the vote passes on Tuesday, we'll have a special meeting on Wednesday.
Yes.
But only if the vote passes.
Moving on to Troy Triumphs this weekend, see the classic Peanuts game come to life in the Troy High School Drama Club's performance of You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. There are 3 shows, Friday and Saturday at 7:30 p.m. and Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. Tickets are $10 for adults and $5 for students. We hope to see you there. Coming up on March 31st, School 2 will host a March Madness attendance basketball game for the winners of the March Madness Attendance Challenge. The class with the highest attendance percentage for the month will play a students versus staff basketball game at 1 o'clock to recognize their efforts in getting to school each day. School 16's annual talent show will be held on Wednesday, April 1st at 6 p.m. Come out and join us to celebrate the many talents of our School 16 students. Special thank you to Mrs. Frazier for organizing the talent show once again this year. Also at School 16, the PTA will host a Bingo for Books event on April 23rd, designed for families to have some fun together and win some books to read at home. The Carroll Hill Reading Olympics contest has wrapped up, and we have our gold medal winners. The K1 gold goes to Ms. Halberin's class. The 2nd and 3rd grade gold goes to Ms. Half in Ms. Crenshaw's class. And the 4th and 5th grade gold medal goes to Ms. Rumrell's class. Designed to encourage students to read while also celebrating the recent Winter Olympics. The program has each class tracked their reading minutes over the last month. Students read for an impressive total of 6,204 minutes during the 4-week challenge. Great job, keep it up.
Cool.
Very cool. Mariana, you want to tell us the Troy High news?
5 students participated in this year's M3 Challenge on Sunday, March 1st. This is a 14-hour international competition where students create mathematical models for real-world problems. This year's challenge asked teams to consider the financial implications on online gambling. The team developed quantitative models that evaluate disposable income, estimate individual gambling gains or losses, and assesses broader financial risk. The hope is that the winning solution will create better policies to address issues in online gambling. It will be a couple of months before they hear from the judges.
Thank you. Very cool. All right. Anything else? Okay. A motion on the floor to adjourn the meeting? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Have a good night. Thank you.